Welcome back to Steadfast Strength, the Mom Fitness Podcast. I'm Kelsey Wolf, and today I have my friend Tessie here.
Hi, I'm Tessie. I'm very excited to be here to talk about faith and fitness and resilience and I guess how that's just played out.
Yeah, cool. So like she said, we're going to talk about finding strength, whether that's physically, mentally, spiritually, whether it's in the easy times, the fun times, or some of life's hardest season.
It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life. All the little things, all the good dreams. I just wanna be in a beautiful every sunset, every sunrise, every new breath, every goodbye, all the mountains, the adventures, every moment. It's a beautiful life.
Okay, so tell us like who you are. Yeah, just who are you? What's your family like?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Tessie. Let's see. I'm a mom now, a wife, all of that.
Yeah, you have 3 boys.
3 boys, 7, 6, and 1.
Yeah, you're married.
Married to Matt. We've been married for 8 years this month. But yeah, it's been a crazy journey. I guess as far as fitness goes and how that's played out in our lives, I actually was remembering back, this was kind of crazy, but I remember fitness has always been a part of my life, but I was wondering like why and how and, but I thought about way back when I was a young child and my mom, I remember my mom blasting Paula Abdul and Madonna in the living room and working out.
Really?
And I remember that as a super small child. And so it's just, I feel like it's always been a part of my life. In the 3rd grade, I had a clipboard in my room and I had to check mark off my push-ups and my sit-ups and my, so like, I just feel like it's always been a part of my life. It kind of took a back seat in high school. I hated PE in high school. The mile run and all of that. I don't know why, but yeah. So it took a little bit of a break in high school, but then when I joined the military is when I really tapped into what your body's capable of doing and the concept of mind over matter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are so much, your mind will tell you to stop before your body can stop or needs to stop or whatever. So just in the military is really, I tapped into like my physical fitness, what I was capable of doing.
Okay, yeah. So I want you to like expand on all of that here.
Okay.
But so military. So
Yes.
where did you grow up? And then how'd you get to the military?
Okay, so my dad was in the military, so I was a military brat. We moved around a lot. Was the schools that I went to, they were all on base. So, I just grew up around military kids.
Do you think that influenced your involvement in fitness at all? Like caring about it at a young age or not?
Maybe, possibly. Like
Okay.
my dad always had his physical training tests he had to do. And so, yeah, very well could have.
Okay.
I suppose. Yeah. It definitely influenced my decision to go into the military.
Okay, yeah.
For
So
sure.
yeah, keep going.
Just grew up in the military, always around it. Graduated high school, really didn't have any direction. So after a couple years of college, not knowing what I wanted to do, that just seemed like a natural choice, I guess.
Okay, so how many years did you spend in the military?
I just did 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 years in the military, moved around a little bit, got to live in Italy for 3 years. So yeah, and in the military, I had really great leadership and maybe they saw something in me, but I did get to become a physical training leader for my squadron.
Okay.
So which meant I could make up the workout. That was the other thing about the military. And I think this should be for everybody in all career fields. In the military, you are given work time to physically train.
Cool.
To work out. Like 3 days a week, you get to either come in, this is when I was in, you get to come in an hour later, or you get to leave an hour early to go work out.
Cool.
So they give you time during the workday to work on your physical fitness.
So I feel like that's an easy justification for the military. But you think that everyone should be able to do it. Why?
I do, because it's so important. Oh my gosh, physical fitness and just taking care of your body. And it's just so important for all aspects of your life.
I don't disagree with you. Like, I think, I feel like as a business owner, like if people are healthy, like they probably have better energy,
Right.
if they...
100%.
Yeah.
So that was the other, just being in the military, really honed in on, just what your body's capable of doing, how hard you can push yourself, and just that mind over matter, and I know we're going to get to this, but you are stronger than you think you are. You can do more than you think you can.
And you, the military was huge for that.
Huge.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think I would be into fitness and all of that if it wasn't for the military.
Okay.
Maybe I would have found a different way to get there, but the military definitely played a big part in that.
So is there anything else about the mental resilience or military experience that you think is worth talking about or sharing that was transformational or formative for you?
No, I just feel like it was, it was, for me, it was just, played a huge part in pushing yourself and the importance of, your thoughts, and your mind, and your, just the whole concept of your mind will tell you that you need to stop before your body. Your body has more in it.
Yeah. So you don't need to stop when you feel like you need to stop.
Just battle of the mind, I guess, when it comes to pushing yourself.
Okay. And so
beyond your limits.
You said we will get to it later, but the transference of that, building those thought patterns in your brain, it's not like they only worked for you in the military.
Right. Oh, no. Oh gosh, no, no, absolutely. Yes. Later. Okay. Yes. So, getting out of the military, decided to go to school. And even in school, going to college, getting my degree, it just made me, knew I was capable of more than my mind maybe thinks that I am.
So what did you go to school for?
Occupational therapy.
Okay.
So got my master's in occupational therapy. And even in school, I don't know, I feel like it just made me want to do better and strive to do better and see it, was always trying, graduated with honors, straight A's. It just,
it was more a part of your work ethic and character at
absolutely,
that point.
100%. Yeah. And just knowing that I was capable of more than maybe my mind thinks that I am. And just that training.
So did you work in occupational therapy for a while, or what was your career path from that point?
Okay, so from there,
career path including mom life.
Right. Yeah. So I went into occupational therapy also because I wanted to be someone who could help other people see what they're capable of doing.
Cool.
And pushing people. Mm-hmm. And
are you a developer?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. That was a Gallup strengths finder reference.
I've recently been told that one of my strengths could be adaptability.
Oh, not that's number 30.
Is it really? Yeah. So, but I have,
okay. Wow.
But so, side note. So that's why I went into occupational therapy. I really wanted to help people strive to be their best, do their best, and just live, really live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because how many people are alive but not living?
Not living at their full capability or capacity, you know? So that was one of the reasons why I went into occupational therapy, and I did work for a little bit once I graduated, but it was kind of, it was tough because going out into the career field was just not what I thought it was going to be like.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was kind of sad because I just spent 5 years of my life dedicating my life to this degree and doing my best and trying to excel. And then I go into the workforce and it's not exactly the way that I thought it was going to look. I tried multiple different settings, acute care, pediatrics, long-term care. I tried a lot of things. I did a lot of job hopping right out of college because nothing felt like it fit.
And why did you feel like you needed to find the fit?
The only way I can describe it is with every job that I had, I felt like, you know, those toys that little babies play with, and you put the circle in the circle and the triangle in the triangle. I felt like a circle being shoved into a square hole.
Yeah.
Just nothing felt right or felt like it fit, and it was kind of a really rough time in my life because, again, I dedicated so much time to this and this is what I thought I wanted.
And it feels like passion and dreams and
Yes.
and
then it's like, wait a minute, this is not what I thought. So
was it because you weren't getting to like help people in the way that you wanted to?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So in that whole time frame, I met Matt in that time frame. Side note too, before, as far as like getting married and having kids, when I first got out of the military and started going to school, I didn't know Jesus, and I had no desire to get married again or have kids. None.
Okay.
My plan was to get out, go to school, start working, own my own practice. Like
You had the plan.
I had the plan. And I didn't have time for anything else. Like I was very, very selfish with my time and my money and everything.
But also, like, from a worldly perspective, it could have been viewed as like focused and determined and
Absolutely. Exactly. That's where I was going to find my identity too.
Yeah.
Like this is what I was going to do. I was going to be successful and help all these people and do all the, you know.
Yep.
So in that whole mix of time, graduating, coming to know Jesus, meeting Matt, or obviously after I came to know Jesus, I had these desires to get married.
Okay.
And have kids.
So meeting Jesus changed something.
Absolutely. And be a stay-at-home mom. Wait. Like, what is all of this? This was not my plan. So anyway, in the mix of all that, coming to know Jesus, yes.
That's radical.
So met Matt, and then I just had this really strong desire. Like, obviously, we knew we wanted to have kids, and
Which was different for you.
very different. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, I want to have kids. Oh, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I just worked so hard for this degree, and I'm still trying to find my way and my, I had a job at the time working as an industrial therapist, working in a factory, working with factory workers on their basically ability to do their job, stand there for hours, doing the same thing over, body mechanics. So I did a lot of like therapy, working with just acute little injuries. At the time and which I didn't mind. I think it's because also I had a little bit more freedom to kind of do what I thought was right in the moment kind of thing. And helping them, like I'm very much an instant gratification person. So if I can see the work that I'm doing have an effect right away, love it. So anyways, which is hard to find. But anyways, I was working as a therapist, but then met Matt, got married, wanted to have kids, wanted to be a stay-at-home mom.
Like you were still trying to find your way.
Still trying to find my way. It was all just a very crazy, crazy time. We got pregnant right away. But I guess as far as like the fitness, going back to fitness was still always a part of my life.
Okay.
Like, right.
Even while you were in OT and
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's always been a part of my life. When I came back after the military, I got plugged in with the gym and was doing kickboxing, loved kickboxing. That was like my thing at the time through college. Like that was my stress reliever. That was like my time. And then I got back into running. And yeah, through school, that was like my stress reliever and my time to just clear my mind. And then meeting Matt. Matt was into kickboxing too when we met, so that was something we could do together.
Cool.
We were at the gym sometimes 2 hours a day. Of course, we were dating, no kids, lots of time. So we would go hit up a Muay Thai kickboxing class and then hit up some strength training after, spend 2 hours at the gym, go get some dinner. Like, it was awesome. But you have that time, you know? And so anyway, so it's always been a part of my life. And then, yeah, getting married, having kids. We had our first baby, and I took my 3 months of maternity leave, went back to work, and realized this is not, no. So just prayed and prayed and prayed, Matt. And I had lots of conversations because it wasn't part of our plan. I had student loans that needed to be paid off. And so the expectation is I would pay those off before I could be a stay-at-home mom. But prayed a lot about it. We had a lot of conversations, and I went back to work for about 3 months. After that 3-month maternity break, and text Matt one day, I was like, I don't want to be here. What am I doing here? Like, this is no, you know, and he agreed that, yeah, I could be a stay-at-home mom. But then we found out we were pregnant again. Elijah was 6 months old, and we found out we're pregnant again. So, surprise. But so,
How did you handle that? Were you excited, or were
I was
you like
excited,
yeah.
but a little so nervous. You don't know. I was still like had that mom fog, that brain like not getting enough sleep fog, and so Matt and I are both older, so we knew like if we were gonna have these babies that we wanted to have, like we need to do this.
Yeah.
So we decided we were gonna try again, and we got pregnant right away. But in that time, I was trying to get back. I was trying to get my fitness back. So I was working out at home. I did some online programs. I had some hand weights at home. So Elijah would be playing in the living room, fenced in with those plastic things, the fences, and I knock out a workout in the living room with, you know, some video on the screen or whatever. So that's kind of what fitness looked like at that time for me. But still just knowing I needed to do it, even through pregnancy, that second pregnancy, and just for my physical health, my mental health, everything. So you're pregnant with Trevor. Elijah's 6 months old.
And
Yeah. Trevor's born.
okay.
The same week that Trevor was born, we found out that Matt had cancer. So, it like literally I was going to be 40 weeks pregnant that week. Due that Friday, we found out that Sunday that Matt had cancer. He had leukemia. So that threw us through a loop. Still kind of a crazy, amazing story about God, because he had a blood infection that they needed to take care of before they could start chemo. He wasn't allowed to leave the hospital before he started chemo because he had this blood infection. Well,
Which made him like more susceptible to
100, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Way more susceptible to catching anything.
that would be life-threatening.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
they were in like the leukemia was so like
Advanced.
that they like needed to start immediately.
Yes, and the reason why he had a stomach bug that turned into a blood infection because the leukemia was so far advanced that it wasn't able to fight off this infection.
So it was the infection that sent him to the doctor.
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, you wouldn't have even known that.
No, because
Okay.
We went. He was about 2 weeks from
The end.
the end. Yeah.
Wow. Well, the end of this side, but anyhow.
Yeah. Yes. So.
Wow.
But I was due that week. Like I was due to have this baby that week. So, and Matt did not want to miss the pregnancy or the birth.
Yeah.
The birth. He didn't want to miss the birth. So, a miracle happened, and he was able to, working out logistics, he was able to be there for the birth of Trevor for a very short amount of time because he needed to get back to his antibiotics in the hospital. So he was able to be there for the birth of Trevor. And then life after that, I mean, we spent the next month in the hospital with Matt. I would just take Trevor with me. Elijah would stay with our parents.
And that was here in Omaha.
That was here in Omaha, yep.
Okay.
So just a crazy beginning of life for Trevor and that next chapter of our life. But he went through about 6 months of chemo, which was just a hard time, just as a family, like watching your husband be so sick, and you just brought this new life into the world and all of those emotions.
Yeah, like you were in the midst of postpartum.
All of it.
Hormones.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
it was such a crazy, but you know what? Like, I tell people that it had to, like, when people say to rely on God and not your own strength, like, that was exactly what happened, because every day I went to the hospital with him, I wanted to sit in the hospital room and cry. Like, I just wanted to sit in the corner and cry and feel bad for myself, feel bad for the situation. But God would not let me do that. And it had to be God, because my flesh, it just wanted to break down. But God kept me strong, and I sat there and, with Trevor and trying to, yes.
Do you, like, going back to your military experience and like the discipline and the resilience and all of that stuff, like, how do you think, like, how you trained your mind and then like relying on God's strength, like, how do those things work together? Or do they?
So one of the other things, in the Air Force, one of their key ideologies, concepts, is adapt and overcome. Adapt and overcome. It's drilled into your head. Adapt and overcome. So I feel like that was one thing, like, from the military. It was like, okay, I'm going to adapt. I'm going to overcome. We're adapt and overcome. And then God tells us in 1st and 2nd Timothy to fight the good fight of faith. And it is a fight, but it's good.
Yeah.
He says it's good, but it's a fight. And usually when we think about fights, it has a negative connotation.
Yeah.
So it is hard, but God tells us it's good too.
Yeah. It's, in a couple weeks ago, Hannah said, hard isn't the same thing as bad.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
You know, and I thought,
exactly.
like, that's
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just mixing, like in the military, obviously, like, they're getting you ready for battle, kind of have that mindset. So to me, this was just another battle.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like, now you're at this point in your life, you're a believer in Christ.
Absolutely.
Like, a believer in Jesus. And as believers in Jesus, like, we're also taught, like, there are fights to be had,
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
and that, exactly. And God tells us that, but He equips us.
Yeah.
He equips us.
Right.
So,
I think there's a misconception of that in cultural Christianity, that, like, Jesus makes everything better. And, like, well, yeah, but
what's better?
Yeah.
What is that? And what does that look like? It's different. It's different in every situation. And it's different with everybody. Or,
yeah, and better,
absolutely.
like, you have to be relying on God to see that better, or else it doesn't look that way.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So
yeah, we got through that. He went through about 6 months of chemo and was deemed cancer-free September of that year, which was amazing. We went on this trip to Seattle, and as like a celebratory thing, just me and him. It was great. And then in that meantime too, as far as fitness goes, after we got through the cancer, everything was great. I was trying to get back into my workout routine, but now I got 2 little ones at home.
like little ones.
Little ones at home. I was trying to do, the same thing in my living room, but it just looked different. And I just knew I needed something, and that's when I found Rock Solid for Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
shout out to Ruth at Rock Solid for Jesus. I just
How'd you find it?
randomly online.
Okay.
It was like just a random post I saw.
That is so crazy, because, like, that's just an example of, like, the way life intertwines, because I don't remember how I met you. I have no idea how I met you. But I remember like knowing that you knew Ruth and I knew Ruth through a different
Yeah.
way. And
I
like,
know the first time I met you.
okay.
It was at church.
Okay.
And it was the emotionally healthy spirituality class.
Oh, were we in the same group?
We were. Yeah. And it was like the first night, and I brought I brought one of her bags with me. And you're like, you saw the symbol, I think. And we're like, wait, do you know Ruth? So realized that we both knew Ruth from Rock Solid for Jesus. So that was perfect because it mixed working out. She had a program where we would work out in her garage, and then we'd go inside, have breakfast, and do a Bible study.
Yeah.
And so at the time, it also worked out because I could drop the two boys off with my mom, and then Ruth's house was like 15 minutes away. So it was like, gosh, this works out so perfectly. Great. And that kind of got me back into working out. I was feeling great again. You were studying the word. Ruth is amazing. And then Matt's cancer came back. So at that time, he needed a stem cell transplant. He asked his doctor, if I was your son, where would you send me? He said, Seattle, Cancer Center in Seattle. And we're like, oh my gosh, we were just there on vacation a year ago. Now we're going back.
So what's the timeline of this? This is like a year and a half. So
Yeah.
since you first found out?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So about a year and a half after his original diagnosis, the cancer came back. So at that point, they couldn't just keep doing chemo because the chances of the cancer coming back was super high. So we moved into stem cell transplant. Matt and I were in Seattle for about 3 months, going through that.
Where were the boys?
The boys were back here. We have an amazing support system between both of our families, so they were well taken care of.
But that's hard. I mean,
Oh, it was so hard. It was
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
So we got through the stem cell transplant as far as the hospital stay.
is this during COVID too? No.
COVID, yes, during COVID, yes.
So we had like just met each other when this was like
Yes.
starting to happen, right?
Yeah, yep, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, because our emotionally healthy spirituality went to Zoom.
Yes.
Because I remember seeing everybody on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's around all that same time.
Okay.
So we had just met then.
Okay.
We went to Seattle, made it through the stem cell transplant. Thank you, Jesus. The boys did get to come out and live with us for the last month that we were there because we got the transition out of the hospital. And so we transitioned into an Airbnb in Seattle. They came out for a month. In that meantime, I was still trying to keep up with my fitness, but again, like it was COVID. So a lot of the gyms in Seattle, even the hotel gym was closed down. So I remember going to the receptionist and asking if I could grab a pair of hand weights to take to my hotel room and just work out there. So still just trying to keep that a part of my life.
That was creative.
I tried, yeah. Found some YouTube people to follow and do their workouts, whatever I could.
And what's your relationship with God look like at this time? Like, how are you processing? Is it just survival or
Survival, absolutely, 100% for survival and relying on God. And we made so many connections in Seattle. The church there, we have a sister church.
like Waypoint? We go to Waypoint.
Yes, and
Waypoint has a sister church.
Sister church through the Antioch network. Yeah, I would call it network. And so they took care. Oh my gosh, they treated us like family. We felt right at home with the church there. They prayed for us. We went to some of their services when we could, and so made that amazing connection there. So yeah, we kind of felt like we were at home as far as in God's family in that way in Seattle. So we.
And when you were like even trying to work out a little bit, like what was your motivation for that? Like, was it because you just knew it was important, or did you need like the time and space, or what was?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Like I knew to keep up my mental health, my physical health. I just knew that's what I needed.
Yeah.
Like I need to just have that outlet. You just feel better.
Yeah.
I just can't, I don't know how else to describe it. You just feel better.
Yeah.
When you get your heart pumping a little bit, or even just saying, looking back like, hey, I did that. I didn't want
Like having
to.
a win. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, having like some, like, yeah, that's one thing I could feel good about that I did. Because a lot of it was sitting in the hospital room. Another thing that I think is really cool that helped Matt get through that stem cell transplant is they have a walking program when you're inpatient and going through a stem cell transplant. They encourage you to walk. Get up and walk when you can. Get up and walk when you can. And they have this lap system through the hallways where so many laps equals 1 mile. We did so much walking. We ended up walking a marathon while we were there. We were inpatient for 18 days, I believe, and we walked a marathon while we were there.
Wow.
And
For someone who's like going through stem cell transplant, like whatever all that entails, like that's a lot of walking.
the chemo that you go through literally is designed to kill everything inside of your body so that the stem cells that you receive, your body will receive them and not reject them. So, so that I think really helped Matt recover quickly is all of the physical, even just walking, like that physical movement.
Which was probably a lot for him at that point in time.
There were some hard miles that we walked, but he still did it.
Good job, Matt.
I think he would even attest to that helped him recover quickly. And he was just so determined and so disciplined, and that helped me too. Like see that in him, and that was something we could do together. And so that was just a really cool like bonding moment for us, but also kept him healthy. So just a testament to movement and how important it is for the body, even if I shouldn't say just walking because that's big for for some people. So I shouldn't say that. That sounds mean.
It's okay. It's true. Everyone has a different starting point, you know? So what's hard for others.
But even that, like just a testament to walking. So anyways, we got through that. We came back and I again just wanted to jump back into my fitness and get like I just needed that, and I knew I needed that. So I think at that point recruited one of our mutual friends, Becca. To do, because I know she did some online coaching, and at that point we had like a nice gym set up in our basement. I was just trying to do whatever. I needed some structure. And so,
which I think is a part that people don't like give enough credit to, you know, like sometimes we're just going about our days like I'll get it in when I can get it in, but it's like if you don't have the structure, like you need the workout, you need the equipment, you need the time and space, like there's a lot of things that go into making the structure of it work for you.
And I wanted that dedicated time because so at the time the way that I was trying to get fitness or movement, or the way that I was trying to get it in is every time I go to the bathroom, I would do 10 push-ups. 20 squats. Or, you know, like that was kind of how I was like, okay, I know I'm not going to get dedicated hour like I want, but if I can just get it in, I have to go to the bathroom. So every time I go to the bathroom, 10 push-ups, even if they were just the countertop push-ups, or 20 squats or lunges. I put a set of dumbbells by one of our bathrooms, so some bicep curls, some triceps, or something every time I went to the bathroom.
And visible,
And sometimes I wanted to see how much I've done, so I would make a tally every time, so I could, I did 100 push-ups throughout the day, or whatever. That was very rare that I got all 100 in, but that was my goal. But I did what I could. So I wanted something more structured. I wanted some dedicated time, and just direction at the time. I didn't have the mental capacity to come up with all of that. So I reached out to Becca, and she put together like a 3-day-a-week strength training. And so I did that for a while, for about 4 months, which I loved.
Was that different than anything you'd done before, or?
No, only because when I was in college and went to do my clinicals, they were like 3-month stints at a time. So I was in Hastings for 3 months, and I was in Des Moines for 3 months. And at that time I did CrossFit. So I knew also then when I was, you know, away from home, not having access to what I like the kickboxing and all the stuff I was doing back home, I needed something, and I was kind of curious about CrossFit, and so I was like, oh, this is a perfect time. I'm in a new place. I'll join this gym, So yeah, I did about 6 months of CrossFit during that time.
So you're familiar with like the lifts.
Yeah. So I had the background with as far as the lifts go and kind of the way the workouts were set up. So it was nice, but it was nice having someone else put it together for me, tell me exactly how many to do and all of the, it was nice having that structure. So I did that for about 4 months and I was just doing that in my basement. The boys were usually down there with me. Sometimes they would work out with me. It was very cute and sweet. But then I was like, you know what? I want some dedicated time.
Yeah.
Like I just, and I was like, how can I make this work with 2 little kids? And so again, I don't know how this came about or I'm not sure, but I started thinking about the why, the YMCA, and I was like, I looked into it. They had childcare, they had group fitness classes, which I'm familiar with group fitness classes, prior things that I've done. So I was like, oh, this could be fun. I'm gonna try it out, and I get an hour dedicated. If the boys go to Child Watch, I get an hour dedicated to fitness,
which I think is a huge difference. Like I can work out with the kids too, and it's fun and it works
sometimes.
Yes,
and other times, it's one of those things where it's not reliable. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So yeah, I started going to the Y. Fell back in love with like group fitness classes. The amazing instructor there. I loved her classes. Loud music, full of energy. And so it was great for that time. And I even I was like, oh, it would be fun to be like a group fitness instructor for kind of different reasons. One reason is I like to have control. The workouts were amazing, but I was like, oh, I've got these ideas too. This would be fun to incorporate this or that. I was having all these ideas. So prayed about it for a while and I was like, I don't know. It's always kind of been like a bucket list-ish thing for me to do. Could I do it? Would I be good at it? I don't know. Was talking to Matt about it, looked into some different, different group fitness programs or how to get certified.
Yeah. Okay.
And, so I just one day, my husband, Matt, knew that it was kind of on my heart, but didn't know when to actually do it. And so one of the boys started going to preschool, so that let up a little bit of free time. One day I just texted Matt. I was like, hey, maybe, I forget how much it cost at the time, but I was like, could we start maybe saving up for this? And within 5 minutes, he had registered me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thanks, babe. Yeah, so it was fun, going through that certification and all the different, the learning that goes along with that. Got that. I talked to the fitness director at the YMCA and kind of told her what I was doing and what I'm interested in this, and she was super supportive. She's like, yeah. She brought me up to the front a couple classes to kind of just get used to it, being up there. And
so at this point in time, you're still stay-at-home mom, but you're kind of like,
oh my gosh, that was hard. That was a hard transition.
Okay.
To stay-at-home mom. I felt like it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I was like, I should be doing something else. And I'm very much, counseling helped me realize this, but I'm very much I need to know how I'm doing. I need a gauge. In the military, I had a gauge. I had amazing leadership who gave me feedback constantly, good or bad, but I always knew how I was doing and how to do better. In college, my grades, that's how I gauged myself. Getting straight A's, getting on it. I knew I was doing good because I was this. And then even in the workplace, careers, depending on your career and your feedback system, how you're doing. Being a stay-at-home mom, I had no way to gauge how I was doing.
Right. Or
life.
if you're trying to use your kids' behaviors, how they're doing, and then that's wait, I don't think this is right.
Right. Or trying to gauge your laundry that's all over the place, or your house is, this looks like I'm failing right now. That was such a hard transition for me because some days I was like, I don't know how to do life. I don't know if I'm doing good or not.
Well, and I just feel like it's so hard because there's this energy expenditure. It's not for lack of trying. I'm giving so much energy all the time.
I'm not lazy. I promise I'm not lazy. I'm not sitting around doing nothing. I promise.
It's not like I'm watching reruns all day long. I feel like that's the connotation. The stay-at-home mom.
Close. Not even close. And so, and having those conversations with Matt too, I don't know how I'm doing, so
And I don't know about you, but like when I ask for feedback, Andy's great about it. Like he's so loving and he's like, you're doing great. And he'll give me specific, like, it's not for like lack of affirmation sometimes, but it's just like there's something in me that needs to know I'm achieving. And for some reason, like the affirmation isn't always enough.
I feel the exact same way. Feel like because Matt is so sweet and he's so full of grace. Like even if the house is a mess or there's laundry, he doesn't look at like that. Like I'm not doing anything. Yeah. But that's how it That's how I think about it. Yeah. And I like it's hard, but it's like there's probably nothing you're gonna say that's gonna change my mind right now.
Yes, this is how. Let's look around.
Yes. So, So just that transition was very hard. So I feel like I was always searching from like day one of being a stay-at-home mom. I was like searching. It's kind of silly, but like I tried to be a Beachbody coach.
Oh, good. Yeah, great. No.
I tried to do that. I tried to sell jewelry. Like I feel like I was just searching for something. And but just recently, like reflecting back, it's like, wait a minute, this is what I prayed for.
Yeah.
I prayed for this.
Yeah.
Like, why am I trying to do all these other things? Like, just enjoy this right now.
Yeah. So I kind of created a detour in that also.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think it's great.
So you're like searching, you're
just kind of
at the why.
So went into group fit, which I loved that so much, and it was great for that season, for that where I could take the boy, like one in preschool, I could take the other one to child watch, get my workout in. Instruct too, which was fun because it was so much fun coming up with the workouts and being creative in that way. That was like my creative outlet, I guess, like coming up with the workouts and the music and what I think other people will think is fun. So it's just great.
And then you got to like deliver it and see that you were like doing something.
Yeah, and people, for the most part, from the feedback I got, anyways, it was good. Yeah, so it was like that. Yeah, like I was like, oh, this is great. But at that same time is when I feel like we connected.
Yes.
At church.
Yes.
Oh, Matt. So Matt, he is amazing. I feel like he kept seeing you at coffee shops.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause yes.
Yes. Like
I kept running into Matt.
Yeah. Matt at coffee shops. And I think Matt maybe mentioned like, oh yeah, Tessie's doing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was down at the coffee shop working one day.
Yeah.
And I had the gym and he mentioned that you were working on your certification.
Yeah, and I kind of knew at that time too, like you had started the gym out here. Yeah. I'd kind of heard that small town talk or whatever. And, you kept running into Matt, and then we finally connected at church.
Yeah.
And
we were I had Ainsley, who was little at the time. Yeah. So I think she was like crying or something. So I was out in the entryway.
And I had Trevor, who didn't feel well and didn't want to be in the sanctuary. So we both ended up out there, and just where you're talking.
And sometimes, like, I love our church.
Oh,
and sometimes I get very distracted because I also love the people in the church. Yeah. So it's like I go to the bathroom and then I run into someone and then I spend the rest of the time out there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened in those situations.
Yeah, but it was so great connecting with you because I feel like I got to like express all these ideas I had. Like you were doing the workouts at the track or in the park, and I kept seeing that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I love that. Like that's so, in my mind, that's so perfect a way for us moms to get what we need in, but also the kids are doing something great, playing in the park or, and so I just admired that so much. Like when I saw what you were doing out here, and I was like, gosh, that would be great to try to do that in Fort Calhoun. And so we just started like talking what that would look like. And I was asking you all these questions. And
so one thing about Tessie, I just feel like she's full of joy. Like if you can't hear that in her voice, like life's been hard. There's been hard seasons, but I feel like you just have this like joy that like fills your it's true. So when I like to do things. I love ideas.
Yes.
I'm not as great at the follow through, but I'm like, let's go, let's run, let's do it. So we're like talking. We're
both like
a
habitual dreamer. I just can't stop.
Yeah, and we both want to be achieving things.
Yeah,
So Tessie and I, at this point, when we're talking at church, it was like a major catch up. I don't think we talked really since like
it was like
before
Matt was our
COVID.
form of like Matt was communicating.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't
Here's
even
what's
know.
Going on. Here's what's going on.
Yeah.
So I am like just catching Tessie's joy, and she's like spilling out things in her heart, and I'm like, well, we could do this, and we could
Yeah.
do that, and we could
Yeah.
do this, and then we get a message. Did you get a text message from Amanda? Or
I feel like maybe security or someone that was working security got a text message
from Amanda Anderson. Shout out Amanda Anderson.
Yeah.
Sitting in the front row of the church,
Yes.
supporting her husband preaching.
Yes.
She texts security and says, "Can you tell Kelsey and Tessie to quiet?"
We were, I guess we were too loud. I don't know. We were just too excited. We were just excited.
But I feel like there's like something in that, not disrespecting the whole church, but like that we were getting excited. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun to dream with people and to be around people who like light a fire in you. And I feel like that's what you do for me. So,
Well, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what you did for me.
So I mentioned that like I created a detour in Tessie's life and like being like content with where the Lord had her because we were getting excited about these ideas. And yeah, you can take it from there. But.
Yeah. So yeah, we started just talking back and forth what it looks like. You were telling me like, hey, this is what I did. This is what it looked like at first for this. And so just giving me all these ideas. And I felt like you were, it was just really nice because you forced me out of my comfort zone a little bit. I will say that in a good way.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, like let's meet with this person. Let's look at this opportunity. So it's like, okay. I was just,
And our idea at the time was kind of like, can we recreate what we have here in Arlington and Fort Calhoun? Like, is there a market for it? Is there a way to make it work?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Does it fit what you want to be doing? Like, does it work?
And I really wanted a community, still always going to be a desire. I feel like a community that wants to push themselves, wants to work hard, wants to sweat, you know what I mean? Like I wanted that community. I wanted people to come work out with me, but
And I've found like one of the things I love about our gym here, and maybe your military experience is like this too, is that in like even your marriage with Matt, like when you do hard things together with people, like it knits you together,
Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah.
It forms that bond. Yeah.
So that when there's that, and then when you're like experiencing life and you're seeing the same people all the time, like there's this natural ability to like share life together. So like when things are good, you get to share that.
Yeah.
And when things are hard, you get to share that together. Like it just forms these deep, rich relationships.
That is so true. But I think that I was searching for that out of the like when I left the military, I was searching for that type of bond in that community. Because of course you're in the military and you're away from family and you're going through hard things, and you create a family and a bond. And leaving the military, that was tough. So I feel like,
and then you're like going through life, and life is tough. So it's like the military is easy to be like, military's tough.
Right.
But then like life is tough too.
It is. And just, so wanting that community. Yeah. And so, and seeing that you've already done it out here. So why would I not glean all that information and experience from you? We went into it.
Ready, fire,
let's go.
Then we'll aim.
But it was great though. But we created the Pioneer Athletic Club.
Yeah.
And and so we started working out at one of the dance studio there, kind of similar to your start here, and got a couple people interested, kind of like regularly coming, like, hey, what is this? Was lugging those hand weights there.
Your excursion would be loaded down with all the dumbbells.
With all the dumbbells. Yeah.
Which is more dedicated than what I did at the track. I was like, we're just doing body weight stuff. Tessie's like, no, I'm going to bring the gym to people.
Yes. I wanted people to lift heavy things. And so, we started at the dance studio there, got a couple people interested. We were there for a little while, but then I had been trying to talk Matt into giving me a space in his big old garage for a long time. And so I felt like even he was still a little hesitant, but I was like, I got Kelsey with me now. Like,
there's There's nothing we can't
There's
do.
yes, exactly.
We're together.
So yeah, it just kind of in my mind it made sense like to move out of the dance studio and move it to our big garage because we could have more equipment.
And you had like some consistent people come in and working out with you.
It was great. Yeah. Yes, it was great. And met some, and still are friends with the ladies that were coming regularly. My family was coming regularly. They were so supportive. And I feel like it was, okay, so some things I learned about myself. I don't know how to transition exactly to where we are right now, but we ended up moving it to our garage. My husband gave me a corner. We got it all set up. I feel like we had a pretty decent setup, not for a huge group of people, but a decent setup.
If you saw their garage, it's huge. So you had a good amount of space in there.
And we had the outside property to do the running and stuff outside. And so it felt like, okay, yeah. But in my mind, why would anybody not want to come out or work out with us? Like, this is awesome setup. We got inside, outside. I love being creative in workouts. I love thinking outside the box. Like, why would anybody not want to do this? But it just like, it was just, after a while, it's just like, gosh, it's not picking up exactly the way that I envisioned, dreamed, or, all that. And then in the meantime, we decide maybe we're going to have another baby.
Yeah. Yep.
So, we got pregnant and I was like, okay, I got to make some decisions here. Of course, I continued to work out through the pregnancy and continued to host classes, but something else happened. And I feel like I kind of had to just accept it and be like, okay, like I've learned this about myself. I learned that I do not want to be a business owner.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into owning a business. And even when you started up and you were like telling me all these things to do, and of course I would do them, but I was like, I don't think this whole business owner side of it is for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I'm cut out for this. And then being pregnant and realizing your life's going to change, you really start to think about you learn a lot about yourself, and you just have to come to terms with some things. And that was something I had to come to terms with and be okay with. Like, I don't think I'm cut out to be a business owner.
Yeah.
And so,
at least not in this season,
not right now, not in this season, not in what's going on in our lives right now and all that. So, but we were still, the gals were still coming out to work out on Saturday mornings and having a good time. And, but then, Isaac came about 5 weeks early. So that was a little unexpected. And then after that, I just kind of took a break from the Saturday morning workouts. 'Cause I didn't think about all the stuff that even goes into like getting the workout area ready, and it's in a garage, it's dusty, it's dirty. And so I want people to come to a clean space to work out, and
I feel like things are always so much more than you think, and like when you participate in things, you don't always know
this exactly
everything that has to happen to make it that, and like I love ideas and stuff. But sometimes it gets very overwhelming because you're like, I have these ideas, I want these things to happen, but I don't have the time to make them happen, or
or maybe just not right now. Like I don't have the capacity right now, and I think that's what I had to realize is I just didn't have the capacity to do it all. And
so what was that? I mean, like, are you coming to terms with that? Like, were you sad? Were you like relieved? Was it?
I think there was a peace behind it.
Yeah.
With finally just like say, and even I remember telling you, like, I didn't want to like disappoint you.
Yeah.
Because you had like leaded me all this way and helped me and put in this work, and like, I was like, I didn't want to disappoint you, and I didn't want you to look at it as like a failure or this or that, but you just,
And I feel like through Tessie and I, like, exploring that, it was always like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens.
Let's just see what happens.
And Andy has helped me so much with that, like giving me the freedom to try things.
Yeah.
And, like with the coffee shop too.
Oh yeah, the coffee shop.
I feel like I don't know if that was what's a failure? I don't know, but like, it's just experiences, and so
and being
for
okay
me,
with that.
Yeah.
and not looking at it as like a failure or, you know, and I feel like in my, like, I need to change that about my thinking is, says who?
Yeah.
Who says it's a failure?
Yeah.
You know, like the whole, like, says who?
Yeah.
If you learn something, great. And I did. And yeah.
Yeah. I just think I am never sad or disappointed maybe in some things that I've tried. I was like, wow, I really thought that was going to work.
Yeah.
Or like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
like, but like in this situation, I did not feel that way at all. Like,
I would have been, but it's like when and I'm sure, I don't know, a lot of people are like this. I'm a very curious person. I want to know what things feel like and experience, you know, and I feel like this is one of those things that if I hadn't tried, I would still be thinking about it and like wanting to try it. You know?
Yeah.
And so I want to know what things are going to feel like or seem like or be like, or, you know, and same with the group fitness thing. I'm so glad that even though I'm not currently teaching group fitness right now anymore, but I'm so glad I did it because I would have been wondering and, you know, I would still be curious about it. It would probably still be on my heart. But
and you'd still be talking about, I want to do this.
Yeah,
I want to do this. And I don't know. I just am kind of like you're saying, like, I'd rather just try it and see what happens than always wonder what if, you know, like you never know what's going to stick. You know, I mean, I think that, so that like the coffee shop is one example of something that like I started and needed to sell and get rid of because it was too much. But like, Andy and I have had all kinds of things. You know, like we had a beef jerky company for a while. You know, we've had lots. I mean, a number of LLCs that we own.
Right. But I just think that's so amazing. Like, you know, you don't know till you try.
You don't know.
And it's the same thing with like working out and fitness and lifting heavier weights. You don't know until you try. And like that's my thing right now with trying to go heavier on some of my lifts. I don't know till I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I want to know.
Right.
So I'm going to try.
You know, like, I don't know if this is right, but when I like approach a workout, of course, like a principle here at the gym is you have to earn the weight. So like, you can't just like start squatting at 185 if you've never like built to that, you know, but like as you built, you know, or like you're trying to decide what weight you're going to use for something, I would always rather start somewhere and see if I can do it than spend all my sets down here and been like, wow, I could have, you know, I'd rather find out that I can't do something than stay down here where I know I can do something. And so earlier we were talking about like the military mindset and how that's like infiltrated. You don't get to pick and choose like where your thoughts, like when your mindset is a certain way, you know, like if you train your mind to think like adapt and overcome in one thing, like that comes out in working out too, you know, like if you train yourself to think like this isn't a failure, this is an experience, like in the gym, then that comes out in life experiences too, you know, like you form those pathways and your thoughts travel
and
down
it starts
them.
to translate into almost everything that you do.
Which is one reason I love fitness.
Same here. Absolutely. It's one of those like instant gratification. Well, depending on what your goals are, what you're going for. But like putting that weight on, I'm gonna instantly know if I can do it or not. And you know, and
that's true. Like with fitness, you know, like you can set goals that are going to take you a long time to reach. You can set goals that you can reach today. You know, so there's a lot of variety in that.
Absolutely.
Like you've been pushing yourself in the gym. You have this mindset of like you always want to be doing the best that you can be doing. I think that something that we share in common is that we like believe that our bodies are a gift. From God.
Absolutely.
And so like, we have personalities where we like to achieve and we just value fitness for fitness, but it's a little bit deeper than that.
Definitely. We both would agree that, we're stewards of our body. Our God created us a certain way with a certain, you know, I think about our bodily systems and how he created our bodily systems to work the way that they do work. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with what we feed ourselves, how we fuel ourselves. You're not going to be able to run on all cylinders if you're not putting the right fuel in your body. I heard something recently, and I wish I could give this person credit. I just forget which podcast it was, but she said that when it comes to what you put in your body, you should eat the foods God created as close to the way God created them as possible. So meaning, like, obviously the foods that God gave us, as far as like the plants and the vegetables and even the meat, of course, animal products, but as minimally as processed as possible. So I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. Eating what I can as minimally as processed as possible. Obviously, you have to cook your animal products and all of that. We know you could get sick, but yeah. So that, and I feel like that's really gotten me through after having Isaac. You know, that third baby, and you're kind of like, okay, I'm a little bit older now too, so it seems a little tad bit harder, but it doesn't have to be. You know.
But I think that that's important to think about too, because like what's worked before doesn't always work in new seasons, you know? So like,
yes.
I think about like when I was in my young 20s, like all I knew to do to look at, and my motivation then was that I wanted to look a certain way.
Yes,
and all I
so
knew then was
now.
like, go run.
Right,
You know?
yes.
And then like all of a sudden, like running isn't getting me the certain body type that I want anymore. So it's like, okay, then now I learn about strength training and I start strength training. And again, like in those phases of life, it was more about looking a certain way. And now it's not. Like,
no, it's, it's crazy how that mindset changes, or it's same way. It was more of like an aesthetic thing before, and now it's more like I just want to feel good and I want to be strong and I want to be able to pick up my baby off the floor. Like you've said, like I've heard you say this a lot, like I'm training for life. Like I'm training for life, like for life things that are going to come my way. Like the other day at Costco, I was putting Isaac into the car and my car started, the wind grabbed it and it was heading to another car and I had to sprint to go get the car. And I was like, this is what I'm trying, life things, you know? And so, being able to do stuff like, anyways, so it's a little bit different now.
It is, but I think like wherever anyone is, you know, like it maybe you are unhappy with the way you look or whatever, like it's okay to feel that way. Do something about it. And everything is a journey. So, you know, I feel like, you know, like,
it's a journey.
It's a journey. So like our minds get reformed. I don't know, like as I grow in fitness, I grow in mental health, I grow in my faith, I grow, you know, like I think about like health as like a sphere, you know, with all these different pillars. Maybe it's, I don't know, but I don't want different bars getting raised too high while my other elements of health stay down here.
Right.
You know, and I feel like that as I get stronger in some areas, like maybe some others I forget to focus on, and then I'm like, oh yeah, okay, like I need to fuel my body. Like I'm not performing as well in my workouts. Why am I not performing as well? Oh, I'm not eating the way I need to. Like, oh, I like my mindset is messed up and now I'm focused too much on physical fitness. Like that's always been a part of it, but like God is like the center of it. So like twist it back. Like let's get back to what it's really about.
Exactly.
So sorry.
And and it's all a learning experience too. You know what I mean? Like just, it's not beating yourself up, not, you know, it's just all a learning experience. And it's a journey, like you said. It's, when I think about everything, I mean, it's all just been a journey. I think you've said it in some of your other podcasts, but like just knowing yourself is a huge thing. Like knowing what you need, knowing how, you know, knowing how your body runs best, how, your mind, your mental health, what you need for mental health, all of that, and knowing and experimenting, trying different things. I think like I hadn't thought about this before we started talking about this, but you know, I think back to again Amanda Anderson, like letting us do some fitness stuff at the church too, you know, and like her recognizing like how important it is.
And that, you know, it's just all connected. You know, like whichever sphere of health you've been focused on more than others, like maybe there are some people listening who have like really great disciplines with the Lord, like that is amazing and like the top priority for sure, you know, but then like maybe start exploring like is my body a gift, like did God give me this, like how can I steward it well, you know,
am I training it?
You know, and I feel passionately about that because I want to be able to do what God has called me to do.
Yes.
You know? So like forever, you
Yeah.
know, for as long as I'm given time on earth, like I
Right.
want to be able to enjoy and live purposefully and on mission. So
Right. And we absolutely have to be stewards of our body to do that. Like mind, body, everything. Yeah. And just, yeah. How important all those things are.
So you've been through a lot. I mean, honestly.
As everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own, yeah.
So how,
Story and
like, if
battle.
you just had to give like some encouragement, and whether it's, yeah, like in the fitness or the faith or the mindset, like, what's your encouragement to people listening?
I'm trying to think of like those hard times where it was like you didn't, like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want, I think we
Because like
just
there's
do something,
Okay.
So,
like, did you ever feel depressed? Like, have you ever been in moments where
yeah, some dark periods, dark times, and of course those are, you got to lean on God. You have to go to God.
And what does that like? Yeah, what does that look like? Like, what does it mean to just do something?
Whether, I guess for me, and right now what I've learned is just, okay, so this is going to sound counterintuitive or counterproductive. Stop in the moment. Like, stop. And just stop and like ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Do I need to read the word? Do I need some extra time in the word? Do I need some extra time in the gym or on the road running or whatever your thing is? Just really be real with yourself. Do I just need to drink a glass of water and hydrate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do I need to eat something? Am I hungry and, agitated because of that? Or like, what do I need in this moment? Sometimes it gets to the point where like, I just have to like, wait a minute, I'm frantic right now, or I don't know what to do. I have all these thoughts running through my head. I could do this. I could listen to another podcast, or I could listen to worship music, or I could go do this, or, but just take a second, take a breather, analyze, take a little inventory of your body. What do I need in this moment? Kind of thing. That, but also, what was I going to say? Just keep losing my thoughts.
That's okay.
That,
Just doing something. We were kind of talking about that too, but
yeah, that was going to be my next thing.
because while you're thinking, I was thinking like sometimes in those like depressive moments, like, yeah, taking inventory of what you really need, because
Yeah.
like it might be easy to be like, I need to work out today, but it's
Right.
like, are you feeding like an anxiety thing? Are you feeding like this frantic,
Right.
or are you feeding like yourself like what you actually need? Like sometimes being healthy is saying no to that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like sitting down and reading or something.
Right.
But then like I think about times where like things have been hard and scary, and like sometimes like just creating a heart posture where I'm like, okay, God, like that's doing something for me, because that's like literally all like I can muster up is like,
Right.
I know I should be praying, but I don't even know what to pray. I know I should be worshiping, but I don't have it in me to worship. I know I should be working out, but I'm like tired and stressed and don't even know where to start. So like, okay, God.
Yeah. Just
And that's spiritual wellness,
Yeah, just like, and yes, in the moment, like just, God, I'm here. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
Don't make it complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated.
And what about for like the mental resilience, the thought life stuff? Like if people are really battling with like not thinking positively or not being able to break through that mental like barrier, do you have any advice or words of wisdom or encouragement for that?
So, I feel like a lot of battles take place in our mind. And, God even tells us to hold every thought captive to Him. So that is something that it's a lot easier said than done. But like in the moment, like, okay, God, I'm giving you this thought. Like you told me to hold this hold every thought captive to you. I'm giving this to you. sometimes that works. Sometimes in the moment, it is a little harder than other times. I try to journal a lot. I try to journal my thoughts a lot. I talk to my husband. Sometimes that's super helpful. But yeah,
I feel like reaching out to others, like whether it's your husband or like community.
and that's the other thing too. God tells us to be in community for a reason, because that isolation is dark and scary, and it's hard though. It's hard sometimes to reach out to people
or to find your people, or
find your people.
Yeah.
But I will say that isolation, breaking out of that isolation, praying to God to help you break out of that, even whatever that looks like in your situation. But like, yes, having a community, reaching out to people is huge. And it's so crazy, because sometimes it's the hardest thing to do, but once you do it, it's the most life-giving thing in that moment.
I think about like how hard it can be to like tell people sometimes, or like, again, like maybe you don't have the people that you think, like,
right.
I can think of times where like I've had great relationships throughout my whole life, but there have been times where I haven't been as close with people, and I'm like, can I reach out, and it's like, one, yes.
Yes.
And two, like if you're in that situation, like what's holding you back from like digging back into community, like
nothing.
Do you need to join a small group? Do you need
Right.
to join a gym community? Like, do you need to ask a friend to go to dinner and catch up and rekindle that? Like, don't stay there alone. Like, figure out how you can put yourself in a situation where you do have people to reach out to.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just always, I don't know. God's just always really good, and he's full of grace and love, and
And then I think too about, so like there's community, and then there's like what you surround yourself with and the kind of messages that you give your brain,
right. And and I feel like that, for me, that's been just kind of a form of like maturing, as far as like the people I surround myself with. Like I'm just realizing more and more and how important that is. And just picking up on how I feel after hanging out with, a group of people, or versus other groups of people, and almost being, maybe, I don't know if you would consider this selfish, but kind of like, to me, time is very valuable. So how I spend it, I want to be very particular about. So like having that community, and that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to like start a gym in Fort Calhoun, is because I wanted to draw all those people out that, we wanted to work hard, but also, do life together and experience hard things together. And
and I think like, I don't want to neglect talking about like, as believers, like, we definitely think you should spend time with people who don't think the same things as you are
100%.
and need your help. But I think we're talking more about like the inner circle.
Yes.
Like who's there to support you when you need it. Like you, again, Hannah and I were talking about this, but like you got to have a full cup to be able to like invest in others and be there for others. So it's like, like sometimes we need people that are in our inner circle that are life-giving, so that we can go spend time with maybe those who are more of an energy drain, for lack of a better word, or like who are needier in their season, because like we're all the needy friend at some point in time,
exactly.
Like that's what makes friends. Like you have to have each other.
Exactly. That community is huge, and I'm finding that. And sometimes, depending on how you classify yourself, I'm not one to like label per se, but like the introverts versus the extroverts. So, it might take a little bit more energy, and I will, like, for me, I'm very much more on the introverted side. So it takes a little bit more time and energy to go out and be that social person or find that community. But I have never regretted doing it. I've never regretted doing it. Because you learn a lot about yourself, and you make friends, and you find your community and your people, and
then you have like encouragement in the hard times. Like, let's go for a run. We're going for a run.
Yes.
Which, in this season, I don't run with people a lot, just because a lot of the time it's like last second, like, oh, the girls are napping and Andy's home.
I can go.
But like, I have such fond memories of being in my young 20s, running with my friend Pam all the time. And those were like deep conversations and processing life together. And,
Yes.
a lot of the time now that happens here in the gym when we're lifting together with different people. But
And that was like, that just reminded me of when, so I trained for a half marathon when I was in Italy, but I was going through a really hard time in my life when that happened. And someone from my leadership was like, hey, why don't we train for this? And that got me through training for that marathon or half marathon, got me through such a hard time in my life. And I definitely attribute it to that training and that physical training. And it's a mental too,
Yeah.
like when you're training for something that's nothing for you, but but like training for something hard like that, it really, gosh, it builds that mental stamina.
yeah, and if other things are hard in your life, it's like fun to prove it to yourself that you can make it through and you can do things. And then I think too, again, like now being in a phase of life where we like love Jesus, like there are a lot of times where running, like I get revelation from the Lord, or like it's my quiet time with him where we're like spending sweet time together, so
sweet.
it's not always that way. Sometimes it's like
Right.
I'm singing some.
But it usually starts out like I got the worship music on. It's very peaceful, but trudging through whatever that last mile is for you, it's different for everybody.
Don't judge me based on my music taste.
It changes a little bit, like what I'm saying to it. Yeah,
or like if I wake up in the morning and I run versus like I've had a full day with the kids and now I'm tired. Now I'm like angry music running.
Right.
To get it out.
Yes, but it's just such a good. Gosh, it's such a good.
It all works together.
Healthy thing.
Yeah. It all works together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, anything else that you want to talk about or add?
I don't think so. I guess like as far as like just getting the fitness in, like getting it in when you can. I feel like there's like this trendy, kind of what we talked about, like every time you go to the bathroom, do something or whatever. I think they call them exercise snacks.
Yes, I've heard of that.
I've heard this term. But even if it's that, even like just whatever, like
movement is
to
good.
get it in the day. Like the days are hard, the days are long sometimes, but.
And I feel like when we're in seasons of life where we can have that dedicated time, cool, take it.
Absolutely. And yes, have grace with yourself.
Yeah.
Like don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, but like starting anywhere, like you can start anywhere. So if it is an exercise snack, or like you're just building your repertoire and your tool belt of different things to use in different seasons. So I think like now like exercise snacks are like bonus, like I want a movement snack or whatever it is. But like when I'm on the road traveling, like that's my movement, like every time we stop on a road trip, I'm doing 50 body weight squats, because I've been sitting in the car all day. So like,
and have you ever regretted it?
No.
Never. I've never regretted dropping down and doing a couple push-ups or what, like, just never.
And if you're lucky, your kids will hop on your back and it'll be harder than you anticipated.
Yeah. Yes. If you're lucky. Yeah. I love that.
Okay. Well, awesome, Tezzy. Thanks for sharing your life with us.
Thank you.
Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
It's a beautiful